Nothing can be more disheartening than seeing your students lose interest in what you're teaching or lose interest in learning anything at all. If you're a teacher that has someone in the class with a learning disability and you're looking for new ways, new strategies to help them learn, then you're in the right place. In this video, I'll share with you 3 tips on teaching a second language to kids with learning disabilities. Hi, I'm Adriana. Welcome back to my channel where you could find the inspiration to simplify, enjoy, and celebrate your multicultural life. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, the button's right there. So what are learning disabilities? They are disorders of basic psychological processes that involve understanding and using language. When we're teaching a second language, we tend to focus on reading and writing, and these are the areas that cause more problems for kids with learning disabilities. The learning disability that affects reading is called dyslexia, and it's not just about reading, it's also about the speed with which we read and the ability to understand what we read. Dysgraphia is the learning disability that affects writing, and it's not just about how we hold the pen or how we, write, it's also about how we plan and edit what we write. Spelling is also heavily impacted by learning disabilities, and it's very connected with reading and writing, of course. And then there's dyscalculia, which is all about math and numbers, estimates, measurements, and not necessarily about reading and writing, although they do tend to travel all together. Learning disabilities are impacted by how we process information, how we take it in, how we process it, how we recall it, and how we put it back out there, how we use it. So if the information is not coming in a way that we understand, that helps us learn, then it's going to be impossible to recall that information and use it at a later date. So when we're teaching, it's important that we concentrate on this very first step, on how the information is coming in. And that information is coming in through our senses. So my first tip is mix it up. Some kids are stronger in the auditory processing domain, and these are kids that are going to prefer to listen to what you have to say. So if you're writing a lot of stuff on the board or you're handing out a lot of written sheets, these kids are going to have a harder time understanding the material. And the opposite is true for kids who are stronger in the visual processing realm. These kids are going to have a harder time just listening and remembering what you're saying. They need something visual, whether it be sentences, words, or images, graphs. These kids need to see something in order to retain information and understand it. My second tip is to get them moving. Yes, fine motor control is important for how we hold our pencil, but you can't achieve fine motor control until you have control of your larger muscles. So in order to get fingers moving and hands and wrist working well, we need to develop our core and our arms. So the more movement the kids are getting, the better to help with the fine motor control. Also, activities that develop their coordination, their balance. All of these things are great to include in your classroom. My third tip is to include activities that boost their self-esteem and boost their social skills. Usually kids with learning disabilities don't really have a lot of problems socializing with other children, but because they often have low self-esteem, because they feel that they're not capable of reading or writing, or they're just not up to par with their peers, they may come off as a little bit different. They may not always find the right words when they're interacting with their friends. Sometimes they are ridiculed by their friends, and this can cause a child with a learning disability to actually have a very low self-esteem. So any activity that promotes social interaction with your children, makes them cooperate, activities that help the child do something that is perhaps a bit challenging, like building something or creating something, all of these things will make the child feel good about himself. And when the child feels that he's capable of doing something, then even facing his fears, like maybe reading out loud or writing or whatever difficulty he may be having, facing those fears will be that much easier. Learning disabilities are not intellectual disabilities. They have nothing to do with the fact that we can see well or not, or hear poorly. They don't reflect some type of disadvantage in the family, a cultural disadvantage, an economic disadvantage. They have nothing to do with emotional imbalance. Learning disabilities are disorders that affect the way we process information. Watch the playlist that's on your screen right now for more videos on how kids learn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.